Hello everybody, my name is Sarah and welcome back to Educating Adventures. Today we are going to be talking about some of the most amazing, the fiercest, and the most important animals in the ocean. We're talking about sharks. And I was wondering if you maybe already knew that sharks are vertebrates like us, but they don't actually have any bones. Or how about that their skin is covered in teeny tiny little teeth? Well, all of these things about sharks are true, and we are going to learn about this and so many other amazing facts, so why don't we go ahead and get right into it. Scientists estimate that sharks have been on Earth for more than 400 million years. Scientists also estimate that there's more than 400 different species of sharks. Some scientists even think there's more than 500. It's hard to know for sure since we haven't explored every single part of the ocean. Speaking of the ocean, when we picture where sharks live, most sharks live in marine ecosystems. That just means they live in the ocean. Some species like to live in deep, open ocean water. Other species prefer to live in shallow water, like near coral reefs. There are some sharks who are able to survive in freshwater as well, like the bull shark, who can actually swim out of the ocean upriver and end up in lakes really far away from where we normally picture sharks being found. Now, when we think about sharks and what they like to eat, sharks are carnivores, which means they are meat eaters. There is only one species of shark that has ever been seen eating plant matter, and that is the bonnethead, who is a very small species of hammerhead shark. So normally when we picture sharks, we think of them being carnivores. Most sharks eat fish, and they target old, weak, or sick fish that are easier for them to catch. Other sharks, especially species like nurse sharks who hang out near the bottom, they like to eat food that lives on the bottom, like crustaceans, like crabs. We even have some sharks, like the great hammerhead shark, who likes to eat stingrays, and occasionally other sharks as well. Like all animals, a shark's teeth are perfectly designed for the food that they like to eat. To eat a carnivorous diet, most sharks have razor-sharp, pointy teeth that are actually in several rows. And as they wear down their teeth or they fall out, new teeth move in to replace them, so they always have nice sharp teeth ready to go. Some sharks will go through tens of thousands of teeth in their lifetime. With more than 400 species of sharks on the planet, there's no surprise that they look a little bit different from one another. And one of the biggest ways that they look different is their size. The largest species of shark, which also happens to be the largest fish in the world, because sharks are fish, is the whale shark that measures about 40 feet long. The smallest species of shark is called the dwarf lantern shark, and they only measure about 8 inches long. So size definitely varies among sharks. However, they usually have the same body shape. They usually have a long, thin body that's very streamlined. It kind of looks like a torpedo. And most sharks move by using their tail and moving it in a side-to-side motion. This makes them different than animals like dolphins and whales, who are mammals, not fish. They move their tails up and down, and sharks move theirs side to side. All of this, their powerful tail and their streamlined bodies, allow sharks to be really, really quick. In fact, the fastest species of shark, the mako shark, can swim about 35 miles per hour. Sharks belong to a group of fish that we call Elasmobranchs, and this group also includes stingrays and skates. And because sharks and rays are closely related, they belong to this group together. They actually share a lot of traits. One trait that they share that we mentioned right at the beginning is they are vertebrates, like all fish are vertebrates. However, their backbone is not actually made of bone. It's made of cartilage, which is the stuff that makes up our noses and our ears. So even though sharks and stingrays are vertebrates, their entire skeleton is made out of cartilage. Another trait that sharks and stingrays share is their skin. We call their skin dermal denticles. And if we break that word down, dermal means skin and denticle means teeth. If you think about where we go when we go to the doctor for our teeth, we go to the dentist because our teeth are made out of dentine. So when we say dermal denticles, we're saying their skin is made out of teeth. Shark skin has a really rough texture. It kind of feels like sandpaper. So when sharks are swimming really fast in the ocean and they're making these really sharp, quick turns, being able to grip the water with their skin helps them to do that. Like all fish, sharks and stingrays both use gills to breathe. And the way gills work is fish usually pull water in their mouth and then it exits through their gills. And when that happens, their gills pull tiny little oxygen molecules out of the water. Now, sharks and stingrays breathe in this same way, but this means they always have to have water going into their mouth. Some sharks have to be swimming or facing into a current at all times in order to breathe. Most of our open water sharks are like this, like a great white shark, always has to be moving. Some sharks, especially sharks that live in shallow water, they can rest without moving at all because they have this really special body part called a spiracle. And spiracles pump water in from behind their eyes and it passes over their gills and allows them to breathe even when they're not moving. Stingrays do have spiracles, but only some sharks do, not all of them. The last trait that we're going to discuss that sharks and stingrays share is their ability to detect changes in electrical fields around them. They have these very special things on their snouts that we call ampullae of Lorenzini. They're basically tiny little holes that are filled with this jelly-like substance, and it allows them to feel changes around them. Anytime an animal moves or breathes or their heart beats, there's a change in the electrical field around them, and sharks and stingrays can detect that. So even when our sharks are hunting at nighttime and they can't see very well, they can still find their prey anytime it moves or breathes using that ampullae of Lorenzini. Even though sharks have these amazing and unique traits, some people are still afraid of them. Sharks are often portrayed as villains or monsters, but they're really not that way. And shark species are threatened every single day by lots of things, by pollution in the ocean, by unsustainable fishing. When we go fishing and we take all those fish out of the ocean, we're taking away their food supply, and sometimes we catch sharks when we don't mean to. Sharks are also hunted for their fins to be used in traditional Asian dishes, particularly in a soup, and all of these things are threatening sharks across the world with extinction. There are things that you guys can do every single day to protect sharks because without them, the ocean ecosystem would collapse. They're a very important predator, so we need to do our part to protect them. We can eat sustainable seafood using the Monterey Bay Seafood Watch program. We can reduce our plastic and our garbage because a lot of that ends up in the ocean. And you can work with your local community to teach everybody about sharks and how important they are so that we can all develop a love for them. All right, you guys, I hope you now love sharks even more than you did when we first started. If you want to test your knowledge on sharks, if you want to do quizzes, activities, and projects, please be sure to check out our Educating Adventure Science program, and I hope we see you guys next time at our next adventure.